all this right here turned into a heaping pile of basil, or in my eyes, a heaping pile of pesto sauce.
I grow it, I cook it, and farm to table. Broccoli, peppercorn, and basil. Zucchini's a staple. I never thought I'd see potting mix or ant colonies in COVID quarantine. About to hit the garden up. The name's aLJo, I farm it up. I got seeds, I got time. Plus I'm hungry, so let's start it up. Let's go! aLJo, quarantine, gardening. In COVID-19. During a time of such uncertainty and anxiety, it is so important to have a purpose in your daily life. You can take control of your diet, get in touch with your human roots, and create your own solution to food insecurity. Make the best of this quarantine by growing what you eat.
What up, fam? It's aLJo from aLJo Gardening. And today I'm gonna be pruning some basil. I started my own gardening actually a few years ago when I was in high school. And the reason I did is because I loved pesto sauce. I mean, there's something about it. It just hits different. So today I'm gonna show you how I prune my basil for maximum production, increased growth, and it's gonna yield a lot of pesto. But these 5 sections are already pruned. I just did that just to show you the difference of what it's gonna look like after and what it looked like before. We're gonna turn this into this. Let's go! In order to prune my basil, all I need are 2 things. Some pruners, I got these online at Amazon. You can also use your fingertips. And a bowl, something to hold it in.
I made my initial prune on the central stem here. Cutting right above the node will actually force the plant to put energy into side shoots, which now doubles the stems that new leaves can grow from.
And out of these side branches, they'll continue to grow and they'll get bushier until they get about like this. Here's a great example of a cut I made here. This was a leaf, but I wasn't worried about cutting it, even though it was a little bit small, because there's a ton of new growth here. So that's just gonna come straight out. And same with this. I could even cut this because you could see some new growth coming in here. Right in here. See this new growth here? Be careful not to snip the new growth. I'm leaving some of the smaller ones on to continue the growth. I'm cutting right below the node near the stem because there's actually some new foliage coming in here. Typically the leaves on opposite sides of the stem grow at the same rate. Talk about a cup runneth over. Oh my goodness. All this right here turned into a heaping pile of basil, or in my eyes, a heaping pile of pesto sauce. And then you know what's great? It's gonna grow back even bigger, even better, and even more luscious. And look at this, just after 3 days. This is the one I pruned for you guys. And you can see it's just growing wonderfully. That new growth I was talking about coming in very nicely. New leaves coming up. That new growth coming in right above where I picked, right above where I clipped. And that's gonna fill out so wonderfully as it grows. After just 6 days, look at how full this is. Just stunning. You see how big this one is? The one that I pruned in comparison to the others. And just full. They're pretty much ready for another harvest. If I wait any longer, they might get too big.
By knowing how to prune and harvest your basil, you'll be multiplying your harvest in days. And after weeks, you'll have herb bushes. But what to do with all that basil now? Oh, you know. So much pesto.
Let's go!
It's best to make your pesto the same day that you harvest your basil. Your leaves will be at peak freshness and your sauce at peak flavor.
It is surprisingly easy to make your own pesto. All you need is something to grind up the ingredients. So I use a food processor. There are plenty of pesto recipes, so find the best pesto recipe that works for you.
All right, check me out. I love pesto, so I'm gonna show you how I make my pesto pasta. Real simple. I love capellini, you know, that angel hair. I boiled it under al dente because it cooks super quickly. I drained it, but I left some pasta water in there to keep it moist. And so that when I add my pesto sauce, it'll continue to get creamy instead of getting thick and hard to mix. So let's grab some pesto. Yes, sir. With the pesto, I'm gonna be extremely generous. As you can see, the top part was browning because of oxidation. I don't think the jar I have is airtight, but it's good enough. I mean, look at how green this sauce is. That looks delicious. So I'm gonna add a bunch of tablespoons in here. We have saved plenty of money by not only growing our own basil, but also making our own pesto. I mean, that stuff is extremely expensive in the store. I mean, you only need 5 ingredients in pesto. And in the store, they have at least 20, which is just terrifying.
So easy to grow and just so amazing to eat. Pesto is why I started gardening, and basil will continue to be a staple in my garden, and hopefully in yours as well.
Cook it, I'm farm to table. Cauliflower, okra, eggplant, and basil. Zucchini, that's a staple. Gardening, I'm about to hit my garden up. The name is aLJo, yeah, I'll farm it up. I got seeds and I got time and I'm pretty hungry, to be honest, so it started up. Never thought I'd see potting mix and ant colonies in COVID quarantine. Whether for fun, to find peace of mind, or to combat glaring food inequities, it is time to start taking ownership of your food supply. Break free from food insecurity and food apartheid by starting a container garden today. Not tomorrow, not next week. All right, fine, you can start on the weekend. I get it, you're busy with other stuff. But start growing ASAP, because you'll never find a hobby as mentally gratifying and stomach-filling as gardening is. It takes less than 30 minutes a day and saves lots of cash in the long term. Join me in uplifting yourself, your family, and our community for generations to come.